brewskis with us and some socializing. I'll send you the info.
Challenges of our time. We do it by embracing freedom and liberty. There may be no such thing as a free lunch, but this hour is as close as it gets. Welcome to A Free Solution.
No such thing as a free lunch, but we do have free solutions here on WYSL in Rochester. Thank you so much for tuning in. Usually you're listening to Larry Sharp on Tuesdays, but Larry is running for governor because he wants New York to be free. Unlike most people that are running for governor. I'd say all other than Larry Sharp running for governor do not want New York to be free. They want their own kind of tyranny. So that's why you're listening to me. Because Larry's busy with a few different things with petitioning and volunteers and a lot of the other stuff. So every once in a while you'll see me hopping in here to take over the reins for him. So happy to be here with you and to discuss government problems. Government solutions, which really are government problems. Government solutions to government solutions. Because when you really dig down to it, oftentimes anything that is wrong with your life or with your town or with your village, or really, if you dig far enough, you find it has something to do with the government, with a policy that they enacted, with a rule that they made, with money that they're giving to someone or money that they're not giving to someone. And this holds true almost universally. And I know this, and I'm still surprised every single day and every single week by new manifestations of it. I have a lot of different examples of that for today, and we'll get to as many as my rants will allow. Basically, what it boils down to is you have a lot of people who have been put in charge of our lives by us. We've asked them, please take care of these things for us. And it used to be not so many things. And nowadays, it's very many things. In fact, it's almost all of the things. Anytime something is wrong, we say, what is the government going to do about it? What is Kathy Hochul going to do about it? What is Uncle Joe going to do about it? How are they going to fix it? Okay, all right, that's a fair enough question. And I elected these people to go in office and to make my life better. So if that's where I'm coming from, then yeah, what you going to do for me? And that's where I stop with with their tactics. I'll say their tactics are, well, let's create a commission. Let's give money. Let's do this. Let's make it illegal. Let's ban it. You know, they've got a bunch of different things that they'll do. And their playbook is horrible. Most of the time, all they would have to do is get rid of something. Get rid of the money that they're giving to somebody. The handouts that they're giving. Stop prosecuting people for nonsense. At the root of every problem is generally a government solution. Ronald Reagan. I'm going to upset the lefties. You know, the scariest sentence in the English language is, I'm from the government and I'm here to help. Because you don't get to tell them, well, your way of helping isn't helping. They say, of course it is. And if you don't want it, well, now we got more problems. Because I am helping you. It doesn't matter what you say about it. And I find myself getting frustrated. Because at the end of the day, the people with the solutions to your problems are the people that you deal with directly in your life. Your family, your friends, your community. And I know not all individuals have those. Not everybody's lucky enough to be connected in a community. Not lucky enough to have parents that care about them. Not lucky enough to have friends. So what do you do for those people? Well, you always used to have the church. You always used to have rich people that would go out of their way to try to help those less fortunate. I read a story today about a carny. I don't remember his name, but you can look this up. It'll pop up if you Google it. Oh, his name was Coney. I think it was Coney. It was Dr. Coney, who wasn't a Coney, or it wasn't a doctor. He was a con man. He was a carny. He put on sideshows. He got freaks and all that, right? Well, there was a problem with premature babies dying. And he said, well, that's an attraction. We'll put the premature babies in an incubator. We'll charge people a dime or 10 cents or something to come and see the babies in the incubators. It'll be a novelty. People will pay big bucks for it. And the baby survived. Okay, is that a little bit weird? Is that a little bit exploitative? Does it taste kind of funny? Yeah. It was a solution. He brought the mortality rate down in premature infants by like a lot. A whole lot. There was a market solution. That in 800,000 years, a bunch of stuffed shirts in some boardroom somewhere would never have come up with that solution. But it came out of thin air from this con man who ended up saving thousands of babies. That wasn't planned. That wasn't a government program. That was just something that happened. And now, a lot of the practices that are used in neonatal care came from that guy. It didn't come from FDR or Woodrow Wilson. It came from some carny on Coney Island. Nobody even had to ask him to do it. He saw an opportunity and he exploited it. Okay, so my premature baby is now a freak right from birth, except when it grows up to be a toddler or to be my adult son or daughter. I have an adult son or daughter. It survived. Had to be uncomfortable for 6 months or so being a sideshow freak. But now I have a son. Now I have a daughter. And those people were able to seek out that care if they wanted it. If that was the only option that they had, they were able to go and take it. Now, again, does that seem normal? Does that seem good? I don't know. That's not my call. That's that lady's call. That's that family's call. I have a premature baby. What can I do with it? Well, I can take it to this carny on Coney Island. He'll survive. So there's one solution that didn't take a bunch of guns or bullets or cops or money. And that's just one of a million of them. And oftentimes, heaping on more government solutions only exacerbates the problem. It at least doesn't help. At the very least, it's not helpful. And I'll get in, like I said, to a lot of different examples of this coming back after the first break. And also a specific quote from a book about why we continue to watch the world burn and we continue to put the same people in office who are burning the world down. It's madness. Why do we do this? Why is Uncle Joe our president? Why has he been in power for 50 years? Why is Nancy Pelosi in power? Why is Hochul in power? Why was Cuomo in power? Our lives, I think most people would agree. And again, this is a generalization. This is two bad things. It's a generalization, and I'm speaking for others. Tell me, maybe call in or comment and tell me if you feel like your life is better now than it was 10 years ago. And tell me what specifically the government did to make that happen. But if you look around and you see gas prices, and you look around and you see inflation, and you look around and see that we're about to get into nuclear war with Russia, and you look around and you see that there's still bigotry and hate and racism and all these things that the government was supposed to fix 50 years ago. If you look around and you see all that and you say, wow, these people said they were going to fix this like 30 years ago at least. You start to say, why? Why is it not fixed? Can they fix it? Do they want to fix it? The answer is no and no. They cannot, and they do not want to. They want to cause more problems because they need a problem to show you, to tell you that another government solution is the solution to the government solution that caused the problem. I don't care that this is generalities. This is how it works. Anyone that is looking at our country today that thinks the system is working, I don't know. Maybe I gotta learn something from you. Because I think I'd be a whole lot happier if I still had trust in the system. I get frustrated every day when I see things. Simple things. Simple stuff sets me off because it reminds me of things that are illegal or that don't have to be or that cause needless suffering. And most of the time it's from some guy on the television or some gal on the television that tells you that they're the only one that can fix it. They are the answer. Not only are they the answer, but the other guy is going to make that problem 100 times worse. The awakening comes when you realize that those two guys, those two gals, that guy and that girl, they're the same person. They're working for themselves and they're not working for you. And I'll get into more of that after the break on WYSL, a free solution. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at Simple Tech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, Simple Tech Innovations should be your first call. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
Hey, this is Kevin Wilson, host of A Free Solution. You ever needed a tool for just one project, but didn't want to spend the cash for something you'd use just once or twice? Well, there's a new tool library in Rochester where you can borrow just the thing you need instead of buying a new one. It's called the Tool Shed from the Southeast Area Coalition, and membership starts at just $25 a year. Use it for home projects or to support your business. Learn more and become a member at seactoolshed.org. That's SEAC toolshed.org.
As a veteran of the United States military, I can finally get the opportunity to enjoy special events, things that we couldn't afford, thanks to VetTix. Every empty seat at a concert, a game, or a play is a missed opportunity to say thanks to a veteran and service member. We can give our veterans a special event where they too can create their own cherished memories. Visit vettix.org. Find out how you can make a difference in a veteran's life.
Only available in the WYSL store at WYSL1040.com. Official top quality tees, hoodies, and coffee mugs depicting the colorful WYSL logo or the already famous Mount Worstmore line of merch depicting Mount Rushmore style are for worst presidents. Of course, you know who is front and center up on that mountain. WYSL official items make perfect gifts, or they're a great way for you to make a personal statement. Locally produced and sold only in the WYSL store at WYSL1040.com.
A free solution on the WYSL stations.
Thank you so much for tuning in to A Free Solution on WYSL in Rochester. I am Craig Miles in for Larry Sharp today. You've also got Kevin Wilson and Tim O'Connor flying across the radio waves on various different days during the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, from 1 until 2. You can tune in and you can hear all of us speaking the word of freedom and liberty. And we have answers just like everyone else. Are they better? Are they worse? Don't know. People don't listen and they don't try them. I think if they did, we might be in a better place. Because I'll tell you what, all of us called this inflation. Back when Daddy Trump printed $3 trillion, we said that's going to hurt. That's going to hurt in the future. I don't think that's a good idea. Back when we locked down with COVID, we said, hey, that's going to make a lot of people upset. That's going to cause a lot of havoc. That might mess things up a little bit. Now we have nothing. You can't buy gas. You can't get stuff from the supply chains. People are out of work. We're about to have a gigantic recession. And everyone says, who could have seen this coming? How could we have ever known that this was ever going to happen? I don't know. Kevin Wilson, Larry Sharp, Craig Miles, Tim O'Connor. They kind of thought they thought this might happen. Who could have ever thought this would have happened? This is my point about the people that we put in charge, that we look to, that we say, we call them our leaders. We call them our leaders. What are they leading us to? Ruin. That's what. We call these people our leaders, and we fight, and we fight, and we fight amongst ourselves. The people that we could be helping. The people in our communities. People can't have turkey anymore on Thanksgiving with Uncle Jim because he doesn't think the right way. We've split up families. We've split up communities. The people who love and care and will help you. We've split them up, and we kneel to Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi and Daddy Trump and Uncle Joe and all of them. And we say, fix all my problems. Fix them all. And then when they cause problems and someone said, hey, I think that's a bad idea, they said, nah, don't worry about it. And then it turned out it was a bad idea. They say, no, it didn't work because of you. That's narcissistic personality disorder. That is what you have for a government. You wouldn't take it from a person. You would be considered a domestic abuse victim. You would be considered to have had trauma, to have to go to therapy now for treatment to deal with the trauma that you have. My lefty friends are loving this, except now they'll go vote for Uncle Joe, and he'll do Uncle Joe stuff and then tell them that they're the reason why their life sucks. If you wouldn't let an individual do it to you, why do you let the government do it to you? Why? Don't. Stop voting for the people that treat you like garbage. And don't excuse them. Republicans, I'm going to pick on you. This is going to be an angry rant day for me. What happened to the Republicans, the Republican gun lovers in Washington? We're going to stand up for your Second Amendment right. What happened to the Republican gun lovers here in New York? We're the only ones that'll repeal the SAFE Act. Except when we have a shooting in Buffalo, we'll vote for Kathy Hochul's gun control package. We'll pass that right quick. We haven't passed anything worthwhile in 20 years, but that one will get passed in 2 days. So this is my question to a Republican voter here in New York State. And you can call in and you can tell me where I'm wrong on this, because I want to know. 585-346-3000, or hop on one of the live streaming platforms and tell me what I'm getting wrong here. Because Lee Zeldin or Andrew Giuliani or whoever the heck else you think is going to be your Republican saver. First of all, tell me how they're going to win. Tell me how they can win in a state with 3 Democrats to 1 Republican. Tell me how that's going to happen. And then tell me why they're any better than the Democrats. Lee Zeldin did not vote on the SAFE Act. He did not vote. He said, I will not vote on that. I will not vote yay. I will not vote nay. Not going to vote on it. Not important. What do you think he's going to do when he gets to be governor? If he gets to be governor, if he even wins, if any of these Republicans, any of these establishment Republicans that have been in power for 15, 20 years, any of them win and they break their promises, what good is that? So not only can they not win, when they do, they act like Democrats. And the Democrats are guilty of this too. The Democrats are guilty of this too. They get in there and say, big business is horrible. This is terrible. Handouts to the rich are terrible. We got to tax the rich. And then they give $3 trillion in a stimulus package to Amazon and Walmart and all of these people, and to Raytheon Technologies so we can go and bomb Russians. or Yemenis or whoever we want to bomb that week. They're supposed to be the people that love life, freedom. Well, maybe not freedom, but they're supposed to be compassionate. The left is supposed to be compassionate, except when big business needs a couple $1 trillion, then you know what? I don't need compassion. My point in all of this is that I don't blame the individual voter. I blame the people exploiting the voters. I blame the people wearing the badges, the R or the D, and telling the voters that they're going to do the things that the voters want. And the voters say, okay, you're right. I got to vote for you. And then they go and they do the exact same thing that they've always done. And they punish the voters. And we continue to vote for them. Stop. You got to vote for a third party. You got to
Dave Brockport.
I've got a call from Dave in Brockport. How you doing today, Dave?
Good show. Hey, listen, your little dissertation here about Republicans and Democrats got me to think an old Indian once said, left wing and right wing belong to same bird.
Same bird, yes, sir.
I don't see any hope for this state. I mean, Pataki, he was like the king of gun control. What the heck?
Yeah, and the Republicans will point to him. The Republican the last time around said, look, we can win. We can win because Pataki did it 20 years ago. See, a Republican can win. And this is my point. What good is a Republican winning if they just do Democrat things?
Right, and vice versa. I think Larry's got some great ideas. He's definitely got my vote because, like you say, 75-25. If I vote R, I'm throwing it away. If I vote D, I'm throwing my rights away.
Yes, sir. Yes. And in some cases, if you vote R, you're throwing your rights away too. You know, here in New York State, because they are rhinos. I like your Republicans and Democrats. I like that. That's a good one.
Dude, I don't see much difference between the two of them.
No, and I think once you understand that, really, I think that's why it's so frustrating, is because it's team sports, and people still want to identify with a team. They still want to root for their guy. Once you realize that same winged bird is flying over you and crapping on you, then you realize, wait a minute, that's not my team at all. And it's really easy to hold them accountable. But as long as you still identify with the left wing or the right wing, you'll make excuses, and that's what they count on.
Right. And I've got ideas that I'm sure my Republican friends don't like, and I've got ideas I know my Democrat friends don't like, but I do definitely like Mr. Sharp's ideas.
Yeah, Larry's got a lot of good ideas, and Larry wants to get to the root of issues. Larry doesn't want to give you rhetoric. He doesn't want to make you feel good. He wants to see how a problem has come about and then see what we can do to move away from that. And that's the thing too, is you have the left or the right wing giving you easy answers to everything. Well, we got shootings, ban guns. You know, well, people are unemployed, give them $1,000 checks. You know, but that's not the answer. Why are people unemployed? Why do people want to shoot a bunch of people? You got to figure that out, and then you fix that problem. You don't just slap a Band-Aid on it.
Exactly. Well, keep up the good work, my friend.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in and calling in.
All right. Have a good day.
All righty. Have a good one. So, Dave, he's got a lot of good points. It's tough. Left wing, right wing, same bird. And I think, again, I'll repeat it. I think that's why it's so frustrating to be an outsider, so frustrating to be someone that identifies as an independent or as a green or as a libertarian, because you already abandoned the two-party system. You know they're for it. You just got to tell your friends and get them to recognize somehow. And I'll get into more of that after the break. Thank you for tuning in to WYSL, a free solution, where we have free solutions, where we have actual solutions to government solutions that cause government problems.
Celebrating 35 years. AM 1040 Avon Rochester, FM 92.1 Rochester, and FM 95.5 Spencerport.
Here's the latest forecast from the News 10 NBC Weather.
Yeah, so once we have more details, I'll send them to you about that July 2nd get together. It would just be nice to meet you face to face if it works out.
Be a scattered shower, thunderstorm with generally dry weather, but it will turn warmer.
Yeah, it's a brewery right off of 390, so it's really easy to get to, and they have food and all that type of stuff.
Great outdoor spaces start at Springwater Amish Workshop.
Yeah, see, Josh is in Colorado, but he was born and raised in Caledonia, so he's going to be coming home for that holiday weekend. Yeah, the visit with people, and the owner of the brewery is at least one of the partners is a high school friend. So I'll keep you posted. It's good to have you on again, though. I always enjoy your perspective.
It'll be sure to complement your outdoor spaces. Summer will be here soon, so don't delay. Springwater Amish Workshop offers a
well, at least you're keeping Keith happy. He isn't called to argue with you, right?
Styles and sizes.
Yeah, he doesn't hesitate to call when Kevin's on, though, and sometimes he gives Kevin like his peace of mind.
7936 Mill Street, Springwater. Open 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, Saturday, 9 to 3. Check our website at www.springwateramishworkshop.com.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to SimpleTech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that SimpleTech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at SimpleTech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at SimpleTech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
Summertime, and the savings are easy when you shop Victor Chevrolet. You'll get that warm, comfortable feeling when you lease a 2022 Chevy Trailblazer LT for just $229 a month for 24 months. $3,609 cash or trade equity at closing. If you need a pickup, get the versatility of a 2022 Chevy Silverado Custom LTD Crew Cab for just $319 a month for 24 months. $45.89 cash or trade equity at closing. A 22 Chevy Equinox all-wheel drive LT, only $279 a month for 36 months. $2,500 cash or trade equity at closing. These lease deals include returning lessee rebate. All factory rebates, incentives, and discounts are applied. Security deposit is waived. 10,000 mile allowance per year, 25 cents each additional mile. Must have lease and household. Tier 1 credit approval required. Lessee responsible for repair and maintenance. Conditions apply. Get details at dealer. Victor Chevrolet has a used selection that can't be beat. Whether it's a Chevy or not, trust your vehicle to our Chevy certified service department. Come see how easy it is to do business with us. Find new roads at Victor Chevrolet, Route 96 in Victor. Visit victorchevrolet.com. Here's a special message for veterans and surviving spouses from Alpine Manor. You may qualify for a special benefit from the VA after applying for funds received for aid and attendance. Your stay at Alpine Manor could be as low as $600 per month. Be sure to call for details. At Alpine Manor, their pride is personalized care for seniors who are not yet ready for a nursing home. There are supervised activities and medications, full laundry and housekeeping services, 3 dietary approved home-cooked meals, and a bedtime snack, all provided in immaculate surroundings. Be sure to call for details on this new program for the veteran in your family. Keep the golden years carefree years at Alpine Manor, nestled in the picturesque rolling hills east of 390 in Livingston County, just 20 minutes from Rochester. New York State Health Department license. Call 346-5880. That's 346-5880 for a no-obligation tour or information, or visit alpinemanor.com.
WISL.
All right, last spot.
Camp Good Days is now hiring. We have a number of opportunities.
How's the farming going?
Our family. If you are looking for a way to make a real difference, there are openings at our offices in Mendon, as well as our beautiful recreational facility on Cuba Lake. Check us out at Camp Good Day.
And hope and pray nature does her thing.
It could be life-changing.
That's it, yeah.
A free solution on the WYSL stations.
We are back with a free solution on WYSL. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Craig. I'm in for Larry Sharp today. Larry's got some campaign things that he's doing because he's trying to run. He's trying to give people a third choice, which is really just a second choice, because the Dems and the Republicans running for office in this state, statewide, for governor, or even attorney general or comptroller, they're part of the machine. They're the one choice. That's the duopoly. Together they make the duopoly. That is one choice. The second choice is Larry Sharp or any other third party. If there was another third party, I'd say that they'd be just as good of a choice if you wanted to fight against the duopoly, because that's what you have to do. In all honesty, you have to make them realize that you're not going to excuse bad behavior, that you won't make excuses for them and vote for them when they treat you poorly. I get to some comments. Logic Rex says, good morning. Good morning, Logic. I'm not sure if you're in a different time zone at the moment, but good afternoon to you. Thanks for commenting. John Barron says, bringing the troops home would stop a lot of overseas spending. Yeah, John, but that would be bad for jobs. Raytheon and Lockheed Martin and all those people, Boeing makes a lot of war stuff. All those people wouldn't be able to make a lot of money off of weapons of war. And, you'd lose a lot of people employed to the Rosies, the Riveters. They'd be out of jobs, and you got to spend a lot of money. Doesn't matter where it ends up. Got to keep a war going so that you can send that stuff out. Got to create a demand. Obviously, I'm joking. I agree with you, John. If we would stop sending so much money overseas in the form of wars or in the form of foreign aid, in the case of Ukraine right now, which is just a proxy war with Russia, we're just trying to upset them. We spend a lot of money that could be spent right here helping people. If you were going to spend money, government doesn't necessarily have to spend money to create solutions. But that's one of the things they like to do. And if they were going to do it, at least they could do it here. Why are you spending money on other countries on bombing them and then fixing them and then bombing them and then fixing them? Because you just want to spend money. Because there's a lot of people that make money off the government spending money. Facebook user chimes in, I love watching English dubbed over English. Keep banging, Craig. I think that is in reference to the live feed. Sometimes there's a lag in the audio. So apologies if that bothers anybody, but we're simulcasting. And I'm glad that you can look past that, Facebook user, and enjoy the show still. John Barron, people get stuck in what they think is normal and don't question authority because they have been numbed by it. Yes, John, not only that, but the people that are causing the problems never admit that they're causing the problems. It's what I said before. It's literally narcissistic personality disorder. Well, it's your fault that your life is messed up. It couldn't be all of these things that I did that create an environment that make you fail. Nah, it wasn't me. Look in the mirror. Look at your own self. And then you say, why don't you look at your own self and say, no, I'm the victim. Why would you attack me? I'm just trying to help you. Yeah. If you wouldn't accept that behavior from an individual, why do you accept it from the government? They don't get some magic cloak that excuses them as soon as they get elected. Honestly, they should get a magic cloak that makes them, that allows you to criticize them, to hold them to a higher standard. But we excuse it. Well, Chuck's on my team, or Mayor Pete Buttigieg. I said I was going to get into some specifics. So let's
John Rochester.
Pete Buttigieg, we got a caller, but I want to talk about Pete for a minute. Pete was the mayor of South Bend, Indiana. He is now the transportation secretary. Pete Mayor Pete presided over the worst roads in the state of Indiana. The worst roads, the most potholes, the most damage done to any of the vehicles in the state was done in South Bend, Indiana, the city that Mayor Pete was the mayor of. And we said, you know what would be a good job for him? He did such a good job with the potholes in South Bend, Indiana. Let's put him in charge of all of the potholes. This is my point. This is how government works. Because Pete needed a job, so they gave him a job. Was he good at the job? Didn't matter. He checked the boxes. He fit the bill. He has a political career to think of. So transportation secretary was perfect for him, even though he couldn't fix the potholes in his own city. That is how the government works time and time and time again. And the Democrats and the Republicans do not change it. They just give Mayor Pete a job. They give him a job, say, thank you very much, Pete. One day, maybe you'll be, the Secretary of State. Hopefully. Let's hope, just play the game, then maybe your time will come. I have a caller on the line, though.
Hey, Craig.
John.
John, how are you?
I'm doing good. I'm a former Democrat, and I always look at the Republicans as our last hope. But when you see something like Mitch McConnell, and I give Mitch McConnell a lot of credit in that he got some fairly conservative chief Supreme Court judges on the docket, which helped a lot. But here's a guy, Mitch McConnell, that has a huge conflict of interest with China. His father-in-law has a huge transportation company, which does one of his biggest clients is the country of China. And the conflicts are there. It's unbelievable. And then Kevin McCarthy, who hopefully will be the next majority leader in the House of Representatives if the Republicans take over, there's something about Kevin McCarthy I don't like. It's a feeling, a gut feeling I get from him. He says the right things. But remember Paul Ryan when he was the Speaker of the House? Paul backed off on a lot of things that he talked about that he was going to do. And I get this feeling that Kevin McCarthy will be the same thing. But the biggest problem I see in our system is the media. The media is so biased. And unfortunately, it's unfortunate they're biased, but they're biased to the left. And the message cannot come out. And for the libertarians, for the Republicans, for conservatives, it's lost. And that's the biggest problem we have.
It is. Well, yeah, you nailed it. It's all the same problem. Because just like Moscow Mitch has connections in China, and you think he's going to be tough on China when he's making all that money from China? Probably not. All of them have connections. Savannah Guthrie, her husband worked for Hillary Clinton. You think Savannah Guthrie is going to criticize Hillary Clinton? It's all one big club, and you're not in it. George Carlin used to say that, and it's still true today. It's them and you. And they convince you that they're on your side, and they are not at all. And as far as Paul Ryan goes, if I'm not mistaken, he went down in a blaze of glory after Trump. Trump, I think, was tough on him, and he said, you know what? It'd be better if I just left. So he's like, I'm taking my check. See you later. Is that someone that was really fighting for someone? Did he really care when he packed up and left that quickly? Probably not.
Kevin McCarthy, I think, is the same. He's got the same personality, the same beliefs.
Yeah, which is what's in it for me? and if it's going to get to be too hard to fight this imaginary fight that I'm telling you I'm fighting, then I'll just go somewhere else.
Well,
whatever, I can make money easier somewhere else. It's
not even that, Craig. I think it's the deep state. Kevin McCarthy, I think, is a deep state. Mitch McConnell, Paul Ryan was, and that's the problem.
Of course they are. And the deep state is not just elected officials. The deep state is administrative people. That's why when you grow government, it gets harder and harder to control. because it doesn't matter who is steering the ship. You have a lot of people on that ship that have a job for the past 20 years that are going to do whatever they do.
And John Roberts, he's another one that became part of the deep state. There's no doubt about it. He changed his colors very quickly as the Chief Justice.
I think that happens. I think that happens more often than not. People talk a big game. You saw it with AOC. She was going to go and make all sorts of changes. And then the squad was one of the last, I forget what, there was a vote that was very important to Democrats. And the squad, they put the last nail in the coffin that killed all the hopes of all of their Democrat voters. So they all do it. They change their colors, they get in there, they get comfortable, and then they forget that they made all these promises. And then we reelect them.
That's right. That's right. And I got to tell you, if the media did their job fairly, both the Republicans, the Democrats would be truthful, and I think they would get things done in a Democratic, Republican manner to keep this country going. I think if the media did their job, they would call out both sides. Right now, they're just calling out the conservatives and Republicans.
I think you're right. I think that's where a third party becomes very important, because what you see now is the Democrat gets up and gives the Democrat answer. The Republican gets up and gives the Republican answer. The media asks the questions that are either leading or softballs or whatever they are, and then they never follow up. They allow these people to speak and say whatever they want to say, and then they don't ask them. They don't ask them the follow-up question. I was watching a documentary on PBS the other day about fishing, about overfishing, about how it's bad, how we need more regulations. And they had some important woman on there whose job it was to regulate or study regulations or something like that. And they were talking about pirate fishing boats. And the host says, well, you got all these regulations and all these rules and all this stuff. How effective are they? Do they really stop the pirates? And she goes, yeah, well, we're not really sure. And then went on and wait, you led with we're not really sure? You're the woman that's in charge of this stuff. What are you doing? And that's the answer. And there should have been a follow-up to that, and there never is.
Well, Craig, you keep up the fight.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. So we're almost to the last segment. We'll get into more particulars on that. Thank you so much for tuning in to A Free Solution on WYSL. Back after the break.
So I don't know if I've asked you this before. What football team do you root for?
Voice of Liberty bumper sticker. There's a great selection to help you show your love of God.
John is a diehard Bills fan, by the way.
Just a few available.
Yeah, he's a regular caller. So are you a Patriots fan?
America, stop voting for Democrats.
Okay, then it's okay with me as long as it's not Patriots.
Standard weather-resistant bumper stickers guaranteed to get you horn honks and thumbs up in traffic. Choose from other locally made WYSL Voice of Liberty merch too, like tees, hoodies, drinkware, and more. Perfect gifts for any Liberty lover.
Yeah, so you for one of two teams that use New York as a name but play in New Jersey.
Guess who's front and center? Shop the WYSL store at
No. But no, you said you like the Giants.
I do. Yes. I do.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So, because people are always like,
maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Buffalo fans in particular, but
perhaps they just like the fact that SimpleTech is the local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at SimpleTech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it.
Oh, I jinxed you. Keith is on the line.
And have an A+ Better Business.
Keith from Rochester.
If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at SimpleTech Innovations a call Call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
Hey, this is Kevin Wilson, host of A Free Solution. You ever need a tool for just one project, but didn't want to spend the cash for something you'd use just once or twice? Well, there's a new tool library in Rochester where you can borrow just the thing you need instead of buying a new one. It's called the Tool Shed from the Southeast Area Coalition, and membership starts at just $25 a year. Use it for home projects or to support your business. Learn more and become a member at seektoolshed.org. That's SEAC toolshed.org.
A free solution on the WYSL stations.
We are back on WYSL with a free solution. My name is Craig Miles. So happy to be joining you today and speaking with you about why it is that things don't seem to work the way that they're supposed to in government. And I have a caller on the line, but I want to read an excerpt from a book before we get to them because I think it's important. The book is The Body Keeps the Score, and it's a book on psychology by Bessel van der Kolk. And he wrote it almost 20 years ago now. And there's an excerpt that I think is applicable to why we keep voting for people who do not care about us and do not have our best interests in mind. It says, when we are terrified, nothing calms us down like the reassuring voice or the firm embrace of someone we trust. Frightened adults respond to the same comforts as terrified children. Gentle holding and rocking and the assurance that somebody bigger and stronger is taking care of things so you can safely go to sleep. In order to recover mind, body, and brain, need to be convinced that it's safe to let go. That happens only when you feel safe at a visceral level and allow yourself to connect that sense of safety with memories of past helplessness. And this gets to what John was saying about the media and stirring you up and making you afraid. That's why every 15 minutes there's a crisis on the television, because they need afraid people to cry out for the daddy or the mommy to rock them. It's basic psychology. These people have it figured out. Now, the agency that he mentioned, the safety, all of that stuff, getting your mind, your body, and your brain back to safety, that comes from realizing that all of that is a sham. And whatever they tell you, it has nothing to do with you. And now you realize, wait a minute, these people are they're manipulating me. They're trying to make me cry out for daddy. I'm not going to do it. Keith from Rochester, I'm sure, has some opinions on this. What's going on, Keith?
I'll keep it quick. You and John are exactly right. It is the lefty media. The former speaker, Paul Ryan, currently sits on the board of directors at Fox News. That's why they've gone soft in their coverage. So John is exactly right. When you get a rhino like Paul Ryan on there, Fox News now goes belly up. What we need to do, in the words of one of our guys, the very good Dan Bongino, who's on Rumble, is create our own alternative news coverage, our own platforms. And that's my final question to you. Very quickly to phrase it, is there a libertarian George Soros? The left always comes up with these billionaires with the deep pockets. Where are our guys for you, deep pocket libertarians, and for John and me, deep pocket conservatives? Call it, like I just did, a libertarian George Soros. But where are our guys with the deep pockets? Like Mr. Bongino said, we've got to create these alternative news sources and have the news covered for our people the way that the libs always do it. That's my question in closing, and I'll let you go. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks for your call, Keith. Yeah, I got an answer to that. And it actually plays into something that I wanted to talk about anyway. So keeping in mind that I'm going to answer Keith's question about a libertarian George Soros, which that's something. John Oliver, I watch him, and John, he's right most of the time about problems, and almost 100% of the time he's wrong about solutions, because his solution is, well, we just need a government harder. Well, his deal was about Amazon and Google and all of the tech companies and how they're a monopoly and how they're exploiting people, how they have unfair business practices, how they're the only game in town. And on that, he's not wrong. Now the question is that okay? Because if you don't like how they do business, then you always have the option to go elsewhere, except that Google and Amazon work with our government. Gmail is literally the government Gmail system. Like that's the email system the government uses. Amazon Web Services, that's where the government stores all of its information. And then they get up there and they say, we're going to regulate them. We're going to teach them a lesson. No, you're not. Get out of here. That's nonsense. So right there is the root of the issue. You have unfair advantages being given to Google and to Amazon by the government because it's expedient for them. Now, John Oliver could have talked about that, but John Oliver said, well, there's these two really cool bills that are sitting on the floor that have been sitting there for a long time and they won't vote on it. Why won't they vote on it? All they got to do is vote on it. And that's how he opened. And then he said, Amazon evil, Google evil, they're all evil. We got to regulate them. And then in closing, he spent 25 minutes talking about how evil Google was, how evil Facebook was, how evil Amazon was. And in the last 2 minutes, he said, but what's really a problem is there's 16 of these Congress people that have kids that work for one of these companies. So it's really hard to get them to vote against these companies. And I'm getting high. Not in a good way. The one important person, Chuck Schumer, here he comes up again, who is supposed to bring the bill to a vote in the Senate. His daughter works for Amazon. And John, this is, mind you, all of this was an aside 2 minutes before the end of the show. This should be the show. Why do we have 16 Congress people who have kids that work for these companies that Congress is saying it's going to regulate? That should be the show. There's your show, John Oliver. Why do we expect the government to regulate someone that runs their Gmail, that helps them spy on you, that bulk collects data that they're able to use to trump up charges on you? Why would they regulate that? That should have been your show. John Oliver's answer was, well, hopefully Chuck Schumer finds it in his soul to forget that his daughter works for Amazon and he'll bring this bill to a vote that's supposed to regulate them. Really hope that happens. Why is that the answer? That is the epitome of what I'm talking about today, which is, what do you expect from these people? Why do you let them get away with this? What do you think he's going to do? It's definitely not going to be regulate Amazon. That is not what he's going to do. That is definitely not what Chuck Schumer is going to do. And that is the unfortunate part of it. That we still, our best answer is, well, I hope Chuck Schumer does something. That has to stop being our answer. Our answer has to be Chuck Schumer's not going to do anything in a billion years. Kathy Hochul's not going to do anything in a billion years. Let's try to find someone that's going to. Let's try to find Larry Sharp. Let's try to find someone with real solutions, real answers, real things that are going to fix the problem. That's your answer, Keith. Got to vote for someone else. That libertarian George Soros that you're looking for, he's in Paul Ryan's pocket. We got to get him out of the pockets. We got to show people that freedom is the answer. Thank you so much for tuning into A Free Solution. I will speak with you sometime soon. It's been wonderful.
All right. Have a great rest of your day. Talk to you soon.
Of Western and Central New York
Thanks,
abandoned their expansion project in Brighton under pressure from a grassroots